Welcome to TechWire. My name is Christina Gagne, and today I'm joined by Carlos Ramos, California's Director of Technology. Carlos, thank you for joining me again.
Thank you, Christina. Nice to be here.
So security has become a major concern for the state, and I mean it's a major concern for consumers and citizens generally. I know that the state has just underwent some education efforts with senior level cabinet members in order to make this a priority. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So we're here at the Cybersecurity Symposium, and we thought one of the good things that we could do to leverage the event and the opportunity is to bring together the senior leaders in government, not on the IT side, but really on the program and policy side. So between us and the Office of Emergency Services, we coordinated an education session where we had folks from the Center for Homeland Defense come in and talk to our cabinet members, talk to our directors. We had representatives from the governor's office. We had folks, we had the actual Secretary of State and other constitutional officers represented at this meeting to educate them as to what does a cybersecurity threat landscape look like, and what are some of the things that they could be doing from an executive leadership position to make sure their agencies are prepared and are doing everything they can do to secure the information and the systems and the data that we collect as the state of California. And it was a great session. It was really aimed at providing them an executive level overview of what could happen, what are the consequences, and then what should they be doing to respond. And so it was a great event. They were here. They carved out half a day to be here, which is really difficult for folks at that level to do. But they were very engaged, and now they're armed with checklists and with action item lists that they can take back to their agencies, to their departments, to say, hey, are we doing these things? Are we doing everything we can to protect the people of the state of California? So,
now, why do you think the tide has turned with cybersecurity? It seems as though government and private sector alike were sort of ignoring it for a while, kind of brushing it under the rug, and now it's become a major issue. So why do you think now attention's being focused on this so much?
I think really there's two reasons. The first one is I think folks in government have realized just how dependent government is on technology. In order to function, you turn off our computers, you pretty much shut down government, much more effectively than Congress is doing. But I think that's one thing. Folks have realized we need to do everything we can to protect our systems, otherwise as government we can't operate. I think the second thing is that there's just been a lot more publicity about the damage that can actually be caused by cybersecurity attacks and exploitations. There's much more information about it. Some of the events that have happened have become much more public and visible. And I think folks are recognizing, hey, these are not just theoretical possibilities. These are actual things that are going on. And we're doing, I think, overall, a better job of educating people and making them aware of what the real threat is like out there, what's going on, and the fact that every single agency can and probably is a target. So I think those two things combined have really caught people's attention.
Now, the state has recently convened a cybersecurity task force. Can you talk a little bit about that and some of the objectives that you hope are achieved by the task force?
Sure, I can. And that's an area where I think California is exhibiting leadership and our governor is exhibiting leadership. Again, through his sponsorship, he asked our office, the Office of Emergency Services, and the California Military Department to bring together folks from throughout California, not just folks that work in government, but folks from the financial sector, folks from the educational community, folks from the public safety area, folks that work in the utilities and the power industries, to say, okay, how can we work together as a collaborative to enhance California's security posture, not just in the public sector, but how do we make our citizens more aware of what actions they can do and steps they can do to protect themselves, and how do we protect our critical infrastructure, which again, if it goes down, can really damage California from an economic perspective and from our place in the global economy.
Now, today we're at a cybersecurity symposium. What's the focus of this symposium and who's here?
So the focus of this symposium is to provide in-depth training and expertise to the state folks, the state and local government individuals that work in cybersecurity. that either they work in cybersecurity and they're information security officers or staff in those areas, or folks that work in the IT operations of a department. And the focus of it is to really teach them more in depth what are some of the things that they can do to protect the systems that they're responsible for. And it's a great turnout. We have hundreds of folks here and a great number of private sector companies that have brought their experts in that are participating, and organizations like yours that are helping to get the word out. So it's a great event.
Now, what do you think some of the biggest threats facing California are in terms of cybersecurity? I mean, we hear the term data breach kind of being thrown around all the time for both the public and private sector, but what do you think the greatest threats are, and how do you think California is prepared for those?
I think the greatest threat to California is the fact that we're a big target. We collect a lot of information, we're a big economy, we're big players on the global scale, and so I think that presents a big target for the bad guys. So I think the threats are the bad guys that want to come in and steal the data or impact our systems to hurt California. And I think the other big threat is just our own users and workers in California that don't follow good security practices. So we have to achieve a change of culture. We have to make people, I use this example when we were talking to the cabinet members. I was saying, our culture has really changed in terms of what you do to protect physical security. You get in a car, you don't even think twice about putting on your seatbelt, or you wouldn't go to a mall and leave the keys in the car or in the windows down. We have to change the attitude and the mindset of folks so that when they use technology, they take those same sorts of precautions, of course on the cybersecurity side. So I think those are the two biggest threats to California's our own users and our own security practices, and the bad guys that are out there trying to damage or access the data that we collect.
Well, it sounds like the education efforts are happening from the top-down level as well as at the grassroots level. So I think that there'll definitely be a happy medium in terms of California having a trajectory going forwards towards being a safe state with data.
That's our goal.
Great. Well, Carlos, thank you for joining me again today.
It was good to see you again. Take care.
Thank you. And thank you to our audience for joining us once again in a conversation with TechWire.